Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Celestial Farm Girl here. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for spending your time with me. Um, Thank you for your comments, your love that you send to me, your support. It is awesome. Um, I sit around here and think about things for quite a while before, well, actually, God leads me to think about certain things, I do believe, because once I start thinking about them, like, I am abstract. So I want to know deep down inside what's going on in the symbolism. And so here I am again thinking about Adam and Eve, over the last couple of days, and kind of looking into that beginnings of this and that, and exploring things. But most importantly, I was wanting to try to understand the exclamation of Eve when she said, the Lord hath helped me to give birth to a man. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to look up man. I'm going to look up the letters that it's made of, okay? So I went with MA, and according to the dictionaries that I could find online, it is mama, mammy, mother, because, vowels you can interchange within those things. And the most important thing about that Cain thing, and God hath given me, with God's help, I've received a man. The N, the symbolism of the N, according into Egyptian times, all the way back, is snake, power. I wrote these things down. Let's see what we got here. The secrets of the gods. Okay, the word was with God, and God is the word, right? John told us that. So being able to speak and explain and understand words was a very important science, I guess you would say. And it probably took many thousands of years to become understandable. But we do know that as far back as 20,000 years ago, they could keep records and stuff. So, it was probably around this time that Adam and Eve came into existence. We want to think like 5,000, 6,000, but I'm thinking that Adam and Eve come into existence, a while back. It took time to get to Adam and Eve. Now, I didn't look up Adam and Eve's name, but, we know Eve means the evening. She was made later than Adam, but she gave birth to Cain, and she was very, very excited and exclaimed to the heavens how grateful she was. And then she gave birth to Abel, and it was just like, nothing more. And then we'll go again after all the turbulence and the kids had moved out. She had another child, Seth, and she said, God hath given me a son. And so this is what we're going to talk about, is Cain and Abel today. So I looked up the letters of Cain and Abel, and we're just going to start from, after this I'm going to pull out some symbolism. Let's do the symbols. Well, I looked up some letters, the letters and their symbolism, because letters, numbers all symbolize something, and then they write a word out, and you can almost read the interpretation of the human by their name and the letters and the meanings of the name. It's pretty interesting. And so, AB in Abel means oxygen. Isn't that something? Oxygen. I was like, wow, that's very, very interesting. And so I looked up Ca in Cain, and we get calcium. So what do we got here? We got breath, and we got bones. We have Adam, which is the earth, and we have Eve. Let's turn this story and flip it upside down. Okay? For just 1 minute. Adam of the earth, a man of the earth. So again, a man. M-A, ma, mother. Could have Adam, a dam, a female. A dam is a female, right? Been a woman. And Eve, which, you put E here and E here and this here, is kind of man-like. But, we're not going to go deep into that because I've went through that too. When I think of these things, I flip everything upside down sometimes because I do have dyslexia and I do see things in a different way. And so I pulled this card today, the Creator. So we're going to work on things and switch them up a little bit. And we're going to work through symbolism, the abstract, and talking about Cain and Abel. Okay? I hope you guys are still with me. Here we go. Let's pull a few on this reading. The beginning, baby. We get a rocking horse. The red horse, the root chakra. When I think of Abàl, we're talking about the abs down here. This could be the life force. Well, it is. Life force comes from right here in our center, right? So, Abàl, because B is pronounced with like a hard pronunciation. Abàl. Abel. A bull. So we got this rocking horse here, red. I think we were possibly, he represented oxygen as well, right? Oxygen. So, our I don't know if you guys can think about it. We're going to get to the cards and see. We want to know about Abel and Cain. And now, as I mentioned Cain, this beautiful flower with a pearl inside pops up, right? Yeah, isn't that something? So we've got Abel as a rocking horse and Cain as a flower growing. And then we get death. So death, and then we get the crown. So these two firstborns of Eve, and again, let's look at a dam. A dam is a female horse, a female. That's really strange too, because I pulled this rocking horse. Yeah, a dam is a female horse. She gives birth. She's a birther. What else, or something that holds water back. But anyway, that's very interesting. And thinking of Eve, is a trough with something that hangs off so the water and everything can pour out and away from the body that it's over. So anyway, so we have Cain and Abel. Okay, so let's think about this. Abel was a boy, and because he was a shepherd, and the males were the tenders of the animals, and Cain was a farmer, right? Right. Okay, let's roll the dice now. Where's the moon at? Cain was a farmer, which means she tended the land, which as it is. Today is what? Thursday the 29th. The moon is in Cancer, Mother Water. mother of water, mother of feelings, mother of emotions. So let's explore this Cain and Abel fable and see what happens. We got three: communion, compatible, building together, working together. So we're going to do this together. If you guys have anything, thoughts, ideas, let's play with history and see what we get. You know, history is always written by the winners, and they generally write the losers out as nobodies. So, whenever you study history, you must study it with an observant eye to find the truth in it that could be, right? Okay, so we have Virgo, we got some practical shit going on here, and we have Mercury, which is funny because Cain and Mercury were almost like one and the same. In fact, Cain represented also calcium, but if you get down into the calcium, then you get into the mercury and stuff. So keep these things in mind because they're important as our story goes on. And again, we're about to paint a story, so let's see how this goes. All right, Eve. Can you tell us about Eve? Eve, the mother of all living, is what was said. She was the mother of all living. So let's go back to the biblical source, and they said Eve, the mother of all living things. So there are a lot more things that are alive than we see on this planet. Oxygen is alive. The calcium in our bones is alive. I found that very odd, okay? I found it very odd. So here we go. Let's talk about the firstborn, Cain. Can you tell us anything about Cain we need to know that will help us understand this situation, Holy Spirit? Cain was the king of the air. Oh, did I say Cain or Abel? I think I said Cain. Okay, we're going to stick with it, which doesn't make sense to me since Abel, AB, means oxygen. And I would get this. Did I say Cain or Abel? Anyway, okay, so we got the King of Swords here, intelligent. I said Cain because when I looked up his name, the calcium in the bones, not only that, he had N on his name, which N stands for the Kundalini full blown. We're not talking about being just in the lower chakras, abs, Abel, which I looked up and was able to interpret that Abel was an entity, some kind of entity, a house, an entity. That's hard to interpret for me right now. I'm going to have to think about it, but means that, he was independent and he belonged here. So I'm thinking he was born more as Adam was a man of the earth, they said, which would mean, and I'm thinking that Adam was an evolved man on this planet who had evolved possibly a little quicker because of being those several thousands of years with the Anunnaki, being the slaves, and then probably eventually having the best of the slaves pulled out of those that were working for him all those years. And Adam was probably the best of the best at that time. And they used Adam to breed with Eve. Eve would mean the darkness. So Adam would be a light and it would be breeding with Eve, which takes us back to Moses, right? He had the pillar of light and he had a cloud of darkness. So, like, we're going all the way back now and repeating this thing here that we're talking about, which I'm not sure where we're going. I'm not sure where we're going, but I do know that okay, so we're talking about Cain. Cain was the firstborn. He was the king of the air. We got Ca for calcium, but the most important letters I found were the center letters, Ai, ancient intelligence. Ancient intelligence. And that's what this King of Swords stands for, is very much intelligence. And the N stands for the snake, the serpent, the cobra. Now, I find it very funny that in the Bible it said that Cain rose up against him. Rose up. Well, the Kundalini rises up like a serpent over your head. It is the protector. It is your very own life source. So Cain was effeminate. Now, let's talk about the field. Cain worked in the fields. Now, I know that Cain was out there raising gardens and, watching over other things, but also the quantum fields. There's all kinds of different fields, okay? And the Bible uses symbolism and words, that a lot of people kind of look over and don't explore all the many definitions of the word. So let's see. I feel like Cain was of super high universal intelligence, which is what the Kundalini is. It's the life force from the very beginning of life that is in all of us, that we work on things and understanding as we move up our chakra system towards the top. Then we reach out into the stars and we tap into those Akashic records. Okay. So, CAI, Ancient Intelligence in Cobra, which is also considered deadly. And in the quantum fields is where the spiritual world is. And your Kundalini is all about tapping into the spiritual world, right? So, right off the bat, we know that Cain was set up as a sorcerer, a wizard, a powerful, again, I'm going to say woman. She tended the garden. She took care of, the house, whatever, however you want to describe it. And Abel was a tender of the sheep, according, and we'll talk about Abel. But first, let's talk about, well, right here it says there's ancient intelligence. Let's ask about the Kundalini, the cobra. And he struck his brother down. He slew him, is what it says. I looked up the word slew. Slew is when you go looking for gold and you shake things up like this, and all the dirt and stuff kind of falls out and you're left with just the shiny stuff, the good stuff. So can you tell us about this? Can you tell us about the force of the Kundalini, or of Cain rising up against his brother Abel? He undermined him. Cain took something and ghosted his brother, her brother. Okay, so in the spiritual fields, if you're a powerful Kundalini master, it is possible to interfere in other people's lives, especially for those who are unaware of what life is about and what's going on. So, are you saying that Cain slew? What did Cain take from Abel? A loss. What did Cain take from Abel? Took his intuition. Bugged his intuition. So Abel could only think, from the gut. He was an earth being, but he was an entity and an L. So I can't think of any other thing to say but that, I don't know. It says Cain was very intelligent, but he took something from Abel, and that's what they say. He's slewing. He took his intuition, which would be gold, right? Like if you were slewing, for somebody and they had a power or something, you wanted to take it, you would, he took his intuition. After that, you're just working out of your ego. Okay. So, Cain was banned, right? We're going to go to Abel here in a minute, but Cain was exiled by the Lord, and a mark was put on his head. Now, and everybody was told not to mess with Cain. Isn't that weird? Everybody was told, don't mess with Cain, which takes me back to the fight. Why was Abel in Cain's field? What was he doing there? Let's ask that question. Why was Abel in Cain's field? Let's see. How did Abel, or why was Abel in Cain's field? Yeah, I almost was going to ask what field, but I wish I had some garden cards. I'm going to get some more cards this month, guys. I think I'm going to be able to do it. Okay, here we go. Why was Abel in Cain's field? The crone. Trying to boss him around. The crone is very forceful, very like you'll do, if it's in a negative way, and he would not have been a crone because Cain would be older than Abel. So this tells me that he was there trying to tell Cain or boss Cain around or set down some standards and rules, on an, I don't know, maybe even with this thing right here, he met him in the field. Huh. It looks like that, don't it? So if this is Abel meeting Cain in the field, look at this little person here, right? So maybe Cain was not able to meet him like on a man-to-man basis and resorted to spirituality, which is what this means. So if Cain wanted Abel to get out of his business, the first thing you would take, if you didn't want nobody messing into your business, is their intuition, then they just wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. You ain't got no intuition. You ain't got no guidance. You ain't got no light. Yeah. And if Abel was trying to rule it over Cain, who was the eldest and the elder, Cain resorted to, was it a spiritual warfare? Yeah, they even tell us that, right? It's spiritual war. You know, you got to know the ups and downs of the spirit. That's why we want to keep our chakra system clean, because we carry, all of us carry this kundalini, this cobra, this spiritual force and power that is within us that can rise up and protect us and keep us safe. Yes, it's a thought for everybody, you know, and it helps in manifesting as well. And it's a purer, clearer way to connect with your cosmos, with the all that is, you know, because, you know, it seems like the leaders or the elders, okay, maybe he was also, Abel was a part of the elders of the earth and came at Cain like this. So if he came at Cain like this, then yeah, Cain may have been tempted to, you know, take his power. Especially, you know, did Cain rise up? I guess that's the thing, you know. So we see that he took something, he took his aces and left him a ghost. Oxygen, air. Okay, okay. All right. Now, maybe I should get another deck. So it looks like Cain was actually defending herself. Five of Swords. That is conflict. And we got Nine of Wands, the end of it. The end of conflict. So Cain was banned and nobody, you know, where did Cain go? Let's talk about that now. And then we may have to make Abel another show. Okay. So Cain went east of Eden. So there was no East Eden as far as I could see. Where they had Eden at was on this peninsula coast. He would have had to have went west and directly west because, yeah, they were on a coastline. He would have had to take a boat and go away. So the opposite direction is Egypt. I believe that Cain went into Egypt, that he was the beginning, you know, possibly of the beginnings of that particular spot where all those pyramids were coming from. Because Cain was born ancient, intelligent. He was more than a god. He was universal. He had the powers of the universe, nature. There's a big difference between an entity and a star child. And Cain was obviously a star child. And I believe that Cain was working in the quantum fields. And I believe he had great knowledge. And I believe that he went to the edges of Africa and intermixed with the naturals there, and began to build Egypt. Cain was the father of Enoch, or the mother of Enoch. However, you know, whatever they did, you know, the word symbolism means more because it's the word that is true, and you break your words apart and you can really find the truth of what's going on with people. So, healing. Cain went to heal his conflict. He was conflicted. Cain. Okay, so now the question is Cain the father of Egypt? The mother of healing? Cain. Our Cain. our Cain, Cainabus, Cain, Cain. I'm thinking of Anubis. Okay, for some reason I wanted to think Anubis. Okay, but we've got the mother of healing, Cain, and we know that the plants of the earth help us heal as well, right? If we know what we're doing and the medicines that are in the plants. So I believe he went to Egypt, and him and wives there, or a wife